OCA.
Ocala.
All right, 10 minutes before 12 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It seems like every day we have some medical professional on the air, and always part of the conversation after they tell us what they do and how they do it and what can you expect and how long is the recovery time and all these things. Is it going to leave a scar? There's always the question, what kind of insurance do you need, right? Mm-hmm. It's an important topic in our world, and it's even more important because it's become a little bit more confusing than it once was.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it might be because of some of the laws that are put into place, and I'm not being political here. I'm just saying I think some people are a little bit confused, whether it's Medicaid or the Affordable Health Care Act. It is a little confusing, especially this time of year. Now, how do I know it's confusing? Because I'm a little confused. I guess that's part of it. But the other thing is, here at the radio station, we get calls we get calls frequently. I'll just put it that way, asking if we could have a guest on who can talk about some of these things that people are confused about. So, Rebecca Madsen is on the phone. She's the Chief Consumer Officer at United Healthcare, and she's going to give us some tips to know when choosing a healthcare plan. Tips to know. Oh my gosh! You think I do radio for a living? Good morning, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm terrific. How are you today?
I'm good. You know who I saw this morning?
Who?
I saw this guy who had his affordable health care lapse because he didn't pay it. And then a month later, when he had enough money to get back on track, they said, no, you got to wait till November.
Yeah.
And I looked at him. He was brushing his teeth in my mirror. And I said, I said, November? Well, it's getting close, so maybe...
Yeah, that's horrible. Absolutely.
That's a political commentary, Robin.
Yes.
Yes. So you guys were mentioning about healthcare being confusing. We know you're not alone in feeling that way. Only 9% of people know the four basic terms: premium, deductible, copay, and coinsurance. And now's the time of year. It's what we call open enrollment, when if you have an employer-sponsored plan, a health exchange plan, a Medicare plan, you go through the process to pick your benefits for the year for yourself and your family. So we're hoping today we can make it a little bit easier for people with some tips and information.
So are they synchronized? Are the Medicare plans and the affordable health care plans all synchronized time-wise as far as when you can enroll?
So employer plans, they vary. It usually starts around now, mid-October, and goes through the beginning of December. Medicare open enrollment is from October 15th to December 7th, and the exchanges are from November 1st to December 15th. Bottom line, it's all right around now, so it's a great time to look at your plan, to look at your benefits, and to get prepared for the year ahead.
So what kind of things do we need to know before we start talking to somebody?
Yeah, there's three things that people can look at to make the process simpler. The first is changes. What's changed in your life? Are you sicker? Are you healthier? Have you had a baby? Take an assessment of yourself and your family to understand where you are. And then look at the changes in the plans offered to you. Has the carrier changed? Has things like the deductible, that's the amount you pay out of your pocket before your coverage kicks in. What's changed there? Second is cost. And in addition to the premium, that's the amount that comes out of your paycheck every month. Really make sure you understand things like the copay, that's the amount you pay when you go to the doctor, or the deductible like we just talked about. And then lastly, and I can't emphasize this enough, look for, is your doctor in the network? 2/3 of people go out of network. That means they see a doctor that's not on their provider's roster, and they get a lot of cost surprises, and same with medications. Look what you take, what your family takes, and make sure it's covered by your plan. That'll help you keep costs manageable.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how do we see that? Is it online? Do we have it in some kind of a bill that may be sitting in a desk drawer somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ways to get the information. You can look online. There's, rosters of physicians. A lot of times that's in an app. It's on a portal. You can actually look if you have an employer-sponsored plans. A lot of times people have health fairs or open enrollment meetings where they have the information either through an online vehicle or in person. You can go and hear people talk. similar with Medicare. So there's a lot of resources out there available to people if you take advantage of them to just try and learn the basics, make sure your provider's in network, and really think about your coverage for the year ahead.
So it's like a two-step process then. You at first you talk to an agent and you tell them what you need, and they'll look and see what you can afford. And then for Obamacare, you have to go to the online marketplace and then register and do all of that yourself.
Exactly. And then, but knowing what to look for, I think, can be helpful. Also look for other things. People often only focus on their medical benefits. Also look at things like wellness programs. We know people earn an average of $742 a year, which is real money, from participating in a wellness program. That not only helps you stay healthier, but it gives you an opportunity for financial incentives. And then also look at things like dental plans and vision plans. You know, if you get an eye exam, you can see not only do you need contacts or glasses, but things such as looking for diabetes. And similar with the dental exam, oral health is linked to heart health. So look not just for your main benefits, but for these extra programs as ways to add value, and they're usually not that expensive.
Is there a way to know in advance before you pick a plan how much it'll affect you financially, or are you stuck with whatever you qualify for?
Yeah.
So, there's what you qualify for, but also look at what you spent in the past year and then use tools. We at United Healthcare have a tool called the Healthcare Cost Estimator. Try and think of the costs you might have ahead if you have a chronic disease, if you take medications, and that'll help you plan out. Do I want a high deductible plan or a low deductible plan? Look at your claims from the previous year. Understand what you spent money on. People forget a lot of times. Did I go to the doctor a lot?
Yeah.
And therefore maybe I want a lower deductible plan or not so much, and a high deductible plan will work for me.
We do have some calls coming in. I didn't ask you off the air, so I apologize. But I'm okay if you don't want to take calls. But if you do, I can let some of the callers on the air. Would you like to speak to our listeners?
Well, I think in the interest of time, if just you and I can talk, the three of us can talk, that would be terrific.
Okay, that's fine. Now, is the website uhc.com?
Yeah, there's a lot of different sources for information. One that we have is uhc.com/healthcareabcs. There's a lot of information, helpful tips. It makes the terminology really clear, information that we hope is useful for people going through open enrollment to keep it simple.
Is it possible that somebody could get the wrong plan and amend it after the enrollment period? Let's say I sign up and everything's fine, and then I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I should have got eye care or something. Is it too late by the time it's January?
So unless you have a life event, so a birth of a child, you get married, you get divorced, something major, usually the plans you pick during open enrollment, you have them for the next year. And that's why it's really important to take the time. Don't just check the box. Put a little bit of time aside and look to make sure you're making a smart choice.
Is that law going to change so people can apply for this all year round and not have to wait? Because like Larry said in the beginning, he had to have it lapse because of other things that came up, and then when you go back to redo it, they say no, you got to wait, and now at the end of the year you're looking at a penalty from the government.
Yeah.
And through no fault of your own.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand situations like what Larry had, and that's why a lot of these programs have things such as auto pay plans, so you don't miss a payment, and therefore you ensure that you're always up to date on the health insurance that you have. If it's through an employer, it comes out of your paycheck, and so that's an easy way to make sure that your coverage doesn't lapse.
Well, hopefully they'll make it better and allow people to do it all year round and not just in 2 months.
I thought for sure that I hid the fact that it was me, by the way.
No, you didn't, because you said Larry.
The guy brushing his teeth in the mirror.
Exactly. You said Larry.
Well, Rebecca, thank you for the information. I know that it's a common question and it's a constant question, and I always say I don't know the answer, but we'll get somebody on who can give the answers, and I think you've done a really good job. And of course the website will give us more information. Before we say goodbye, we got the website. Do you have a phone number?
Usually the best number for people to look at is the number on the back of their card. They can also talk to their healthcare administrator and somebody who's usually on site who can help them give information.
All right.
And then lastly, if you have a Medicare plan, looking at resources available to you through the government, and those are on the government website.
Okay, Rebecca Madsen, thank you so much for being on with us today. Good stuff.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
From the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The man who carried out the deadliest shooting in our country's history, suspected by some of having had help.
Maybe he's a super guy that was working out all this on his own, but it'd be hard for me to believe that.
Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo, investigators not ruling anything out right now.
Lombardo says they found the explosive tannerite in his vehicle along with ammonium nitrate and 1,600 rounds of bullets. His girlfriend was questioned by law enforcement in Los Angeles Wednesday after she arrived back from the Philippines. In a statement read by her attorney, she says she had no knowledge he was planning this.
Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal. The Nobel Prize in Literature goes to Japanese-born British novelist Kazuo Ishiguro, one of his best-known works, The Remains of the Day, adapted into a film starring Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson. And first-time jobless claims last week dropping 12,000 to 260,000. Fox News, we report, you decide.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-467-1443. That's 800-467-1443. 800-467-1443. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Ad Council.
Today in Florida Ag News from a Southeast AgNet. If your area suffers damage from a natural disaster like Hurricane Irma, then USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service in Florida can help through the emergency